Shalom, shalom, my students of WBSU, and this is my honor to welcome you on this week 3 in this course of educational measurement theories. It is our uh, pleasure to see you. Uh, it is a pleasure to see you uh, looking on how you can be good fitting students. As always, we welcome you. This is your professor, Bishop Tantuan, and I'm always happy to have you on board. And again, we are very happy to see you digging this course together. This week, we are going to see uh, in measurement and evaluation how validity and reliability assessments. Those are the key terms we are going to see. The reliability of an assessment tool. What is reliability of an assessment tool? Here, in these notes, we say that it is the extent to which it consistently and accurately means learning. The validity of an assessment tool is extent by which it means what it was designed to measure. So, what it was designed to measure, why it is there. This is the reason behind. You know, why students are going to school to learn. Why? Because they need to get skills and knowledge. So, what are the examples of validity and reliability test? We see this in testing sometimes when we see in testing, uh, that is where we can get this reliability and validity. For example, if you measure a cup of rice 3 times and you get the same result each time, that result is reliable. It is unchangeable. It is real. It is fact. Always you can have that as an evidence. The validity, on the other hand, is referred to the measurement accuracy. Accuracy. This means that if the standard weight of a cup of rice is 5 grams and you measure a cup of rice, it should be 5 grams. There is no changes. When there is no changes, this means what? This means that we need to have the tangible results. What is example of validity assessment? The fundamental concept of keep in mind when creating any assessment is validity. Validity refers to whether a test measures what it aims to measure. For example, a validity driving test should include a practical driving component and not just a theoretical test of the rules of driving. Yeah, this is normal. It is known by everywhere. When you get the theoretical skills, automatically it goes hand in hand with the practical one. We're using this driving test on how they can test you by giving you the theoretical and practical test. How to make an assessment valid or reliable? Uh, how can you make your assessment methods more reliable? We have some points here, like 5 points that are helping you to make this reliable. Hmm? Point number 1 is align your assessment with your learning outcomes. You need to use your outcomes your learning outcomes. Use clear and consistent criteria and rubrics. Be the first to add your personal experience. Vary your assessment methods and sources. That is three. Four, review and revise your assessment methods regularly. That is what will always used to tell you, that you need to revise your notes. Here's what else to consider, so you can bring even other methods, other techniques. What is the main difference between validity and reliability? Reliability and validity are concepts used in evaluate the quality of research. They indicate how well methods, techniques, or tests measures something. Reliable is about the consistency of measure, and validity is about accuracy of the measures. So these terms they go hand in hand. Valid and reliable assessment. These determine whether an assessment is valid and reliable is technical process that goes well beyond making sure that test questions focus on materials covered in a state standard, while both of these terms are used by researchers in association with precise statistics. So, in this way, it's where you can deal with your testing, your result, in comparing the results, compare and contrast. Then you can see if they are not changing anytime. You can prove that the assessment is real. Reliable is a measure of consistency, something which is consistent, something that you can always say that this has been done this way, this way, and this way. It is the degree to which student results are the same when they take the same test on different occasions. When different scores score the same item or task, and when different but equivalent tests are taken at the same time at different times, reliable is about making sure that different test forms in a simple administration are equivalent, that latest of given test are equivalent to the original test. So this deals hand in hand with the original test. So we are coming on the original test, how they are reliable, how they are real, which authentics they are. So when you are given and driving a theoretical uh, license test, and you get it, to prove that you have taken real courses, they take you to the practical driving skills, and then you learn how to drive. You have to know all of those techniques to use the laws and regulations, to respect and obey all of those conditions that are acquired in the road. So you got them in the theoretical, and then you are qualifying to get to another step. Learn reliable and authenticity of what you have acquired. It's that license you are getting. And now that was we can types of evidence of evaluating reliability may include. These are the points that you cannot leave behind when you are evaluating or you are touching on reliable. Consistent score, meaning over time within years and across student group and delivery mechanisms such as internal consistency statistics. Mm. Then number two, evidence of the precision of the assessment at CAT score, such as report of standard errors of measurement, the standard deviation of errors of measurement that are associated with the test scores from a particular group of students. This you need to know the low average of standard deviation. When there is a deviation, it cannot go as much as many. It has to be as low as possible. Evidence of consistency of student level classification, such as report of accurate of the categorical decision over time. Reliability analysis overall by subgroup by reportable category. Evidence of the generalizability of results, including variability of group internal consistency. So these are, all of these are dealing with the evidence based. Evidence of consistency of student level classification, evidence of generalization of results, then evidence of precision of the assessment. So these 4 points are going hand in hand with these 2 points. One is reliability. Reliability expressed mathematically on a scale from 0 to 1, with 1 representing the higher possible reliability, multiple choice, and selected response items and assessment tend to have higher reliable than constructed response and other open-ended item or assessment types such as alternate assessment and performance task, since there is less scoring interpretation involved. Since reliability is a threat achieved through statistical analysis, it requires the process called equating. No, it deals with the equity, how the equalizing, which involves statistical adjustment scores on the different forms of the same test to compensate for the difference in the difficulty, usually fairly small differences. Equiting makes possible to report square scores that are comparable across different forms of the test. So, dear students, this point number 2, sense reliability is a threat achieved through statistical analysis. One, it expresses mathematically on scale from 0 to 1 how the gradation A to Z, Z to A. So, and then 2, it is achieving through statistical analysis. One, it doesn't follow this analysis, but another one is the process of following one another. Then validity, what is validity? One question that is often asked when taking about assessment is the test valid? Is it the test valid? It has value. Is it okay? The definition of validity can be summarized as law where a test measures what it is supposed to measure. Validity assessment produces data that can be used to inform educational decision at the multiple levels, from school improvement to effectiveness to teachers' evaluation to individual students' grade and performance. However, validity is not a property of the test itself. Rather, validity is the degree to which certain conclusions drawn from the test results can be considered appropriate and meaningful. So here we can say that validity, it goes with the result oriented. If a test does not measure all the skills within a constructed, the conclusion drawn from the test result may not reflect the student's knowledge accurately. You cannot say that this is a valid test. the validity is not there. So we go hand in hand with the evidence of alignment, as I have been saying, and then evidence of the validity of using results from the assessment. Last point is evidence to score related to external variables and expected, such as report analysis that demonstrate positive correlation with external assessment that measures similar constructed teacher judgment of the student's readiness, academic characteristics of the tasks. What is the difference between reliability and validity assessment? These are different. They are different as usual. One of the following tests is reliable but not valid, and the other is valid but not reliable. Can you figure out which is which? You want to measure students' intelligence. So you ask students to do as many push-ups as they can every day for a week. When they are doing this practice, they are familiar with. You want to measure students' perception of their teachers using a survey to the teachers hands out the evaluation right after the reprimand hard class, which she doesn't normally do. Continue reading to find out the answer and why it matters so much. So you need to continue reading and doing research. Validity and reliability in education. Schools all over the country are beginning to develop a culture of data. The culture of data keeping records, was not there, but now this time requires to keep data. So validity, it goes with the valid test. Reliability, it goes with the real uh, real work you are doing. Therefore, we can see how students different between the validity and the reliability, the way the students are there, provide what they have learned and what they are expected to do. When creating a question to quantify a goal or when deciding on the data instrument or to secure the result to that question, two concepts are universal agreed upon by researchers to be of peak importance. These two concepts are called validity and reliability, and they refer to the quality and accuracy of data instruments. What is validity? Validity of an instrument is an idea that the instrument measures that intends to measure. To measure what is the real, mm, what is the exactly you want to measure. Then what is reliability? Reliability, on the other hand, is not all concerned with intent. Instead of asking uh, the test, where the test used to collect data process. So reliability and validity, they are going hand in hand. Reliability, it is goes with the real and accurate assessment. Then validity, how the test is valid, was it following the curriculum? The data assessment is done in academic way. So you need to set goals, you need to be focused, you need to use instrumental, and then after that you will going to get result. Mm. Types of validity, we have constructed validity, we have constructed validity, that is number one, and constructed validity, it has a significant there, refers to the general idea and the realization of theory should be aligned with the theory. And then we have criteria criteria validity. This criteria validity refers to the correlation between a test and criteria that is already accepted as valid measures of the goals and questions. And then content validity. This covers all the content of the teaching stuff, the teaching notes. Then we have a diagram there. What I want to measure, need to measure constructed validity, content validity, creation validity. Then these are giving valid instruments and types of reliability. We have different types of reliability, limitation of reliabilities. Yeah, we have a lot. So, my dear students, I'm encouraging you to dig lot within these notes and you read. And in conclusion, therefore, valid and reliability are meaningful measurement that should be taken into account when attempting to evaluate the status of the progress towards any objective district school or class holds the premises statistical measurement of this proper. So in a conclusion, therefore, assessment this on how you want to assess your students. Then validity, you need to set valid questions. Reliability, the questions that are real and that are tangible and how they can be helpful. So, in my short words, I thank you so much for being with us in this week 3, and I'm requiring all of you to try his best and complete the quiz that is in week 3. So, very sorry, our machine has got damage and it was not working properly. So, I'm wishing you the best and hope to meet you in week 4. May God bless you.